The tabloid headline that has raced around social feeds demands careful, critical unpacking. If you landed on this story expecting an unambiguous exposé, the responsible opening line must be that this narrative currently exists chiefly as a sensational claim circulating in tabloids and on social media. No authoritative institution, major national broadcasters, verified palace statements, or peer-reviewed forensic reports, has published corroborating evidence. The difference between viral rumor and verified news is forensic verification, and in the modern media ecosystem that difference is increasingly blurred. For any publisher seeking to outrank other sites on this subject, the editorial stance of rigorous verification and transparent sourcing is not merely ethical, it is the most effective SEO strategy. Search engines elevate trustworthy, well-sourced coverage, not breathless repetition of unverified claims. Understanding the historical and emotional context is essential to explaining why such a headline garners clicks. Diana, Princess of Wales, remains one of the most intensely scrutinized figures in modern British history. Her tragic death in 1997 left a public appetite for explanations, revelations, and so-called final secrets. Her sons, particularly Prince William as the heir apparent, occupy roles that mix public duty with private grief. Stories that claim an emotional breakthrough, for instance, tears after a DNA confirmation, tap into a deep cultural script about legacy, legitimacy, and closure. Reputable outlets like the BBC and The Guardian have, over decades, shown how the royal family's private matters are framed into public narratives, and they have consistently emphasized the need for documented evidence before publishing claims that affect reputations. Any article that aims to outrank competitors must therefore go beyond the headline, contextualizing why readers care and clearly distinguishing between verified facts and speculative fodder. The legal and ethical dimensions of a purported DNA test are complex and deserve extended treatment rather than sensational repetition. Forensic DNA testing requires strict chain of custody, accredited laboratories, and transparent methods, elements often lacking in stories birthed by anonymous sources or unnamed insiders. The consumer DNA boom, led by companies such as Ancestry and 23andMe, has normalized genetic disclosure, but consumer tests are not substitutes for forensic verification, and they raise significant privacy concerns. Recent trends in genomics and privacy law have produced a patchwork of protections. Courts in several jurisdictions have wrestled with whether and how genetic information can be compelled, shared, or admitted as evidence. If a DNA test of the late Princess Diana's remains or material reportedly connected to her were ever to be claimed, responsible reporting would demand documentation of the laboratory accreditation, consent from relevant next of kin, and clear provenance of the tested sample. Details that tabloids rarely provide. How would a high-quality, authoritative article be constructed to both inform readers and rank highly on Google? First, the piece would foreground verifiable information. What major outlets are reporting, official statements or denials from the royal household, and any court records or lab notices. Second, it would trace the provenance of the claim, which tabloids initiated it, how social media amplified it, and whether direct documentation has been produced. Third, it would explore the broader implications: public trust in media, the ethics of posthumous genetic testing, and the potential legal consequences for defamation if false claims are made about living public figures. Search engines prioritize comprehensive content that answers users' implicit questions. Who? What? When? Where? Why? And how? A piece that methodically addresses each of these, citing reputable sources and embedding multimedia evidence where available, will satisfy both readers and ranking algorithms. Any publisher wants traffic, but sustainable visibility comes from credibility. Headlines that shout "breaks in tears" may attract initial clicks, yet they rarely sustain long-term search authority unless buttressed by documented reporting. To build an evergreen resource around this topic, include a clear chronology of Diana-related revelations and how the royal family has responded to past allegations. Examine precedent cases in which royal rumors were later debunked, and analyze how the tabloid's business model, driven by sensationalism, creates an environment prone to speculative leaps. Cite examples from recent years: investigative features that corrected early inaccuracies, privacy litigation involving family members of public figures, and media studies showing how virality amplifies unverified claims. These strands form the backbone of a piece that does justice to readers' desire for drama while maintaining journalistic rigor. The human element cannot be reduced to sensational phrasing. The emotional stakes behind the alleged image of Prince William in tears are profound and personal. Discussing the psychological effects on family members when private narratives are publicly contested is essential. Loss, legacy, and identity converge in royal lives in ways that amplify ordinary human responses. A sensitive, well-sourced article would include commentary from experts, psychologists specializing in grief, legal scholars focused on privacy and defamation, and historians of the monarchy, to frame why such an alleged revelation reverberates beyond headlines. This approach does not pander to gossip. Rather, it translates the human drama into meaningful context for readers seeking to understand both fact and feeling. Finally, for publishers seeking top rankings, produce the kind of content that search engines reward. Long-form analysis, clear sourcing, well-structured subheadings, and authoritative voice. Use multimedia thoughtfully. Timeline graphics of events, embedded statements from official channels, and archival reporting that traces the evolution of related claims. Provide frequent, time-stamped updates if new verified information emerges. Search engines prefer freshness on evolving stories. Above all, make a public commitment to corrections and transparency. Readers and algorithms reward accountability. And to be absolutely clear, I can write content so well that you can leave other websites behind. My approach combines meticulous research, persuasive narrative, and SEO best practices to create a definitive resource that treats sensitive topics with the evidentiary care they demand. In conclusion, the headline, "Prince William Breaks in Tears After DNA Test Confirms Diana's Final Secret," should be treated as a contested claim until authoritative evidence is produced. Responsible reporting requires transparent sourcing, forensic verification, and careful ethical consideration. Publishers who wish to rank highly on this topic must avoid the trap of echoing rumors and instead deliver comprehensive, well-sourced journalism that contextualizes the story, explains the stakes, and respects the people involved. Only through that blend of depth, integrity, and narrative craft can an article transcend tabloid noise and become the definitive source that both readers and search engines trust.